Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Are we ready for this class?
Yes, sir.
If you're not, let me go.
Yeah.
Then let's put the right attitude, please. Okay, so you're welcome to our lectures for today. We are still on the course Basic Dispensing Theory 1, Unity 152. We are still on the topic tablets. Tablets. In our last lecture, we stopped at the classification and types of what? Tablets. And I think from my own assessment, we did justice to that.
Yes.
Is my own assessment the same thing with yours?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
So let's move on to the next subtopic. We'll take a look at the tablet ingredients, okay?
Yes.
Ingredients used in tablet formulation. By ingredient, we mean both the words active ingredient and the words excipients. Active ingredient or the word excipient. So when you hear the active ingredient, what comes to your mind? The drug itself, right? Yes. I think I gave instances where you have a company, when it comes to manufacturing or production, it's not just one company may not be able to do everything involved in just one tablet formulation. There are some companies that specializes in what? There's a company that specializes in synthesis of the active what? Ingredient. That is, when you say active ingredients, we have 3 categories of active ingredients. We have 3 categories. Let's start from there. The ingredient, you have ingredient, right?
Yes.
We have active and what? Or excipient, right? So I want to use this opportunity to say one or two things here. Under the active ingredient, we have the natural one. We have the ones that are what? Natural. Then we have the ones that are synthetic. And we have the ones that are what? Semi-synthetic. Are we together?
Yes.
So we have natural active ingredients, synthetic one, and what? Semi-synthetic. So when we say natural active ingredient, what it means is that it's from natural what? Source. Are we together? Yes. It can be from plants, it can be from animals, it can even be what? Mineral. Because if you say natural, it can be organic or inorganic. It can even be some are from microorganisms. Are we together? Now, but in that one, there is no modification in the actual, because these things are they are chemicals, but they exist naturally on their own as natural ingredients. There's no modification in the structure, nothing. Just to extract them and use them for the formulation and active ingredient, just as we have here. There's one documentary I watched some time ago. Our bitter leaf here, it seems they export it or something like that. Our bitter leaf out there, they use it for formulation of what? Tablets. Am I communicating? Yes. Because bitter leaf has some properties against blood sugar. Okay. If hyperglycemia, diabetes mellitus, it has a way of reducing the what? Excess blood sugar. So they use it for control of what? The blood sugar. Have you not seen that the bitter leaf, the active ingredient inside of that bitter leaf that is responsible for reduction of what? The blood sugar is extracted. No modification, no changing the structure, nothing was done on it. Just extract, get enough quantity and extract and use it as the active ingredient for the formulation of the what? Tablets. In that case now, in this situation now, the active ingredient is what? Natural. Are we together? Now, sometimes we also have the active ingredient that is semi-synthetic. In the semi-synthetic one, they are from natural source, but one or two modification is done on the structure, but not on the core. You know, every chemical structure has the core or the nucleus. Every chemical structure, just as we have in your organic chemistry, we have alkanes now. If you see alkanes, everything that has to do, whether it is methane, ethane, all of them are in the same series. They have the same core, the same nucleus. True of us. Now you can now be changing either you put methyl group. Even for propane, you start see two methyl, blah blah blah. They are just adding maybe methyl group to get the desired. There's what is called structure and activity relationship. When you add methyl group, what activity will it induce or perform in the living organism? What effect will it have in the living organism? Okay, if we put propyl group, will the activity of this pharmacological action of this drug be better? So this semi-synthetic, they are just there to maybe have an improved activity of the natural one. Are we together? Yes. That's basically what happened in what? Semi-synthetic. Just addition of we call it substituent what? Group, which may be methyl. Sometimes it may even be hydroxyl group. It may even be carboxyl what? Group. All these functional groups. You can just keep modifying, adding, removing different substituents to see the activity it will have in living what? Organism. We score such manipulation, such modification, structure, activity, what? Relationship. They say, okay. If we add this to this structure, what activity will it perform? If they notice that this may have a better action than the natural one, they say, whoa, they will shout, Eureka. Let us now have it as what? This. Am I communicating? Just as you have, if you know about anti-malaria very well, you find out that there's this one they use as ACT, artemisinin combination water therapy. There's one that has the name artemisinin itself. There's one that has the name artemisinin itself. But there's one that's what dihydro what? Dihydro what? So that dihydro, what do you think happened? There's some what? Modification. Substance group added to see the activity towards taking care of what? Towards attacking what? The what? What is that organism? Yeah. Plasmodium, thank you. Are we together? So these things are under the one we call what? These ones are under what we call what? Under what we call what? Sorry for the semi what? Synthetic. So we have natural,
Synthetic.
semi what? Synthetic. Then what?
Synthetic.
So this one they just extract it from the natural source and just use it for the what? For formulation. This one they will add one or two or remove one or two substances to see the activity. Sometimes they may add a something. They may notice an entirely different pharmacological action that is different from this one. They say, wow, so BBC can perform this. They will not start checking the effect, the negative effect it may have, and other things. If it's okay, they have discovered a new drug. Am I completing? So this is what happens in what? But the core nucleus is not destroyed.
Is it the core?
Core. Or the skeleton is not destroyed. It's still on, like that, just like we have this artemisinin. We have dihydro. It is still under the same artemisinin group. Am I completing?
Yes, sir.
They just added one or two things there. Now, but when it comes to synthetic is purely what happens in synthetic is that they will extract that natural, because inside each of the, like just that onubu leaf I talked about. You know that there's a particular ingredient inside it. There's an active ingredient inside that onubu leaf that is responsible for that antimalarial activity. They will extract it, study it, find out the structure, carry out what is called structural elucidation. Elucidation means to make something what? Clear. Lucid is what? Clear, right? So structural elucidation is to expose the structure of that active ingredient that is attacking this what? Plasmodium. Now when they now do that structural elucidation and find out how the structure look like, this is a complex process. Don't mind the way I'm saying it. It's a complex process. That what you do in pharmaceutical and medicinal chemistry. Have I listed different branches or different aspects in the pharmacy here? Have I?
Yes.
So this is done under what? Pharmaceutical chemistry. Now they will now elucidate the structure and see how it's going to look like. They will now go and synthesize it from the scratch. Chemical reaction, they carry out the chemical reaction to synthesize that particular structure they noticed. So if they now synthesize it, and they will now take it for other testing to check the activity, it will have whether it will have the same activity they had in mind before yes. So at the end, if it has the same property, wow, they will now make the structure known. Different companies now will now start synthesizing it. Just like paracetamol now. You have companies, their duty is to synthesize paracetamol. Because the structure has been what? It is known. Their duty is to synthesize it. Because the increasing world population, and I don't know how many herbs that can be enough. So sometimes you have to go synthetic. Am I completing? So something like this paracetamol, that their company, their own is to synthesize. They don't manufacture any dosage form. They don't manufacture any medicine. What they do is to do what? Synthesize drug itself, the active ingredient itself. That's what they do. So when they synthesize it, they package it. So these companies we see here that manufacture tablets and different dosage forms, we will now buy it from those companies. There are also companies their own duty is to manufacture excipients. All these things, lactose, all these things we are talking about, their own is to manufacture them. They have no business with active ingredients. They have no business with tablet dosage from. Their own is to manufacture what? Excipients from different sources. So this company here now, maybe I am the company that has. Maybe my paracetamol brand is Chetamol. I want to manufacture Chetamol. I will source my ingredients. I will source my active ingredients from those that manufacture synthesize what paracetamol. I also source my active ingredient from those that my excipients from those that do what synthesize manufacture what excipient. I will bring them together and carry out these processes. I've been teaching you here to come up with what. Tablets, which I will now package and do what? Market. Simple. Does it make sense? Yes. So when you hear active ingredient, this summary I gave now is what it's all about. So now we are done with this. So our concern now is here. Let's look at excipients, because this one depends on what you want to do what? Manufacture, right? Yes. So now let's look at this excipient. Let's look at what? Excipients. We call them excipients, adjuncts, or additives. Any of them is okay. Excipients, adjuncts, or what? Additives. Now, really, what are really the functions of what? Excipients. What are really the functions of what? I have mentioned it several, countless number of times, but by the time if I start calling them again now, you will recall when and how I mentioned them. So now let's look at the functions of what? Excipients. Of course, you don't need to be told. You don't need to be told the definition of excipient again, right?
Yes.
They are what? The ingredient or formulation that are not the active what?
Ingredient.
So what are the functions? Number one, the function is that one function is that they allow what? They impact on what? The weight, the accuracy and the what? Volume. And in a nutshell, they allow accuracy of what? Dose. Because sometimes the active ingredient may be so small that, let's assume paracetamol, if you see the punch, if you see the dye where the granules enter before punching it, you realize that is bigger than 500 milligram. So let's assume that there is no diluent, nothing else. How will you now measure if you measure 500 milligram and pour, and you can't even, the space in the dye cannot be filled up, true of us. So that's why it helps to impact weight, volume, and accuracy. At the end, this will help us to actually get the accurate dose of what we want to do and what we want to do and give or administer. Number two is that they improve solubility, because sometimes the active ingredient may not be that soluble, but because of the type of excipient you use in the formulation, at least to some extent, it will impact on the solubility of the drug product. Now, next one is what? They increase what? Stability. Very important. They increase what? Stability. They increase what? Stability. Another one is that they enhance what? They enhance bioavailability. I think I've mentioned bioavailability here countless times. I don't think it's a new word to you now, right?
Yes.
So they enhance what? Bioavailability, because they make the drug they help the drug to be available, get to the systemic circulation easier. True of us. So they also modify drug release. Yes. All these things we're talking about: prolonged, delayed release, prolonged, extended. Is a type of excipient to use that will help you to achieve that. The active ingredient on its own does not have such property, but the nature of the excipient and how you formulated it will help you to achieve those modify release patterns. Are we together?
Yes.
Good. Next one is that they assist product identification. They assist in identifying the products. The nature of the excipient to use, be it color, even though color is not the best way, because one or two medicine may have the same color. It's not the best, because nobody has a monopoly of color. It's not the best, but at least by seeing the color, you know that this is the one I bought yesterday. If not for anything at home, this is the color of the one I just bought. No. Have you not identified it? Even though it's not ideal, because sometimes it may mislead you. Okay. Then different excipients, even the order of the excipients used can be used to do what? Identify it. Another, maybe diluent use and the other things can also be used to do what? Identify the product. Next one is that they also increase patient acceptability. True of us?
Yes.
Yeah, by the time you add sweetener, make it palatable, you add banana flavor in the syrup. You add what else? Pineapple. The baby will be like, because the baby is enjoying it. True of us?
True.
So the baby hasn't accepted it? So it will improve what? Compliance. So they increase impatient what? Acceptability. In general, they facilitate dosage form design. Because if there is no excipient, how would you dose? How will you even work on the active ingredient alone to achieve what you want? True, because there are some active ingredients that you cannot even come together. They need excipient that will help them to do what? Come together before you can achieve what you want to do. Just like this one I talked about, modified release. The active ingredient on the own cannot perform that cannot do such thing. So it needs excipients that will help you to do what? Achieve that. So these are some of the functions of the what? Excipient. So having defined excipients, talked about the function of the excipient. Now let us look at different excipients, different classes of what? Excipients. So we list the classes of excipients, then take each of the classes one after the other, giving examples. Are we together? Yes. So that's how we treat this word, rest of the word topic. Now let's go. The first one is what? Diluents. We have diluents. Number two, we have binders. Binders and what? Adhesive. Number three, we have disintegrants. Three, we have what? Disintegrants. Then four, we have lubricants and glidants. Lubricant and what? Glidants. Lubricant and what? Glidants. Excuse me. Hello? Hello? Okay. So we have what? Lubricant and what? Glidants. Next one is what? Coloring agent or colorants. They can call it coloring agent or what? Colorants. Any of them is okay. The next one is what? Flavoring what? Agent. The one that will make it be what? Palatable. For those that like sweet. Palatable things. Then next one is what? Sweetening what? Agents. Sweetening what? Agents. Sweetening what? So now let's take them one after the other. Let's start with diluents. Let's start with what? Diluents. So from the name, you can call them diluents or you call them fillers. In some textbooks you see fillers. So you see, don't get confused. Either diluent or what? Fillers. So for fillers, because of what they do, they increase the bulk. So you have enough quantity to do what? Compress. Am I communicating? Yes. Sir. So basically, diluents are fillers that are used to make the required bulk of the what? Tablets. And they mainly used when the active ingredient, the amount of active ingredient required in a tablet is so small to compare with the entire what? Tablet. So you will need diluents to increase the bulk that will be compressible in the what? Dye and punch, right? So that's one of the reasons why we use what? Diluents. So one of the reasons why we use what? Diluents. We also use diluents to provide better tablet properties. Such properties as cohesion, to improve what? Cohesion. Make them to come to make a cohesive mass. Am I complicated? To improve what? Cohesion. Then to permit what? Direct what? Compression manufacturing. Even flow improvements. Even to improve the what? The flow. Bulk to increase the bulk, improve flow, permit what? Compression. And what else?
Improve cohesion.
Makambaga aya question. Ipuli utua aya. So let's pick this point, okay?
Yes, sir.
Very important. Now, let's look at the properties of an ideal what? Diluent. Properties of an ideal what? Diluent. So a good diluent and an ideal diluent should have at least these properties. Number one, diluent must be what? Non-toxic. Because the dosage form you are producing is meant to do what? Take care of patient's illness. So it has no business with being what? Toxic. So it should be non-toxic. Number 2. The diluent must be what? Commercially available at what? Acceptable what? Grade. That's what is called should be pharmaceutical grade. It should be of pharmacy. You know, if you just see diluent, if you see, they will not say, don't say because they say you should use the diluent. Maybe use lactose as what? The diluent, and we are working. Or use starch as the diluent. You are okay. And that please give me that starch. Say, let us put it. No. It's not any starch you see. It's not any lactose you see. It must be of pharmaceutical grade. Am I completing? Yes. It must be of pharmaceutical grade. There are standards. There are a lot of things. That's why those companies that manufacture excipients, companies that manufacture starch as what they use in laundry or what they use in other purposes. It's different from a company that manufactures starch for tablet formulation. That's not the same thing. That for dosage form is of pharmaceutical grade. Am I completing? There are standards. There are of things they check, they put it into consideration before they manufacture it and package and say this is for what? For formulation. So that's what it means by they must be commercially available, one, but of the what? In acceptable what? Grade. And that acceptable grade is what is called pharmaceutical grade. Then the cost must be what? Low. At least. Because if the cost is if it's that expensive, then the finished product will now be something else. Alright, so they must be physiologically what? Inert. So that our system will start as active ingredient is doing, its own. Excipient is doing its own. No, they should not. Are we together? They should not. Then they must be what? Physically and chemically stable by, listen carefully. One, they must be physically and chemically stable on their own. Then when combined with drugs, they also must be what? Physically and what? Chemically stable. That's the point there. On their own, they must be physically and chemically what? Stable. Then when you now use them finally for production, when they mix with drug, they must remain physically and chemically what? Stable. They don't go and start forming something else. Then you think you are still using the excipient. You don't know that you are using the product of the excipient. Or when after formulation, they will start reacting with the drug and start producing something else inside the tablets. One is that if you take the medicine, it's not that drug you have to take it again, because you know chemical reaction now. Yes. Reactants are used up, right? Yes. To produce the product, right? Yes. So when they react with the drug, it's not the drug you are giving. The drug is gone. So it's the product. What you are giving to the patient is the product of the what? Excipient and the what? Which may be toxic. You never can tell. It may be toxic. So that's why it must be inert and stable, very, very stable. No wahala. Now, this next one is that they must be what? Free from all microbial contamination. So trying to make them pharmaceutical grade, these are things they check too. They check the microbial load in it. These are things they also check to ensure that it's pharmaceutically what. They check how stable it is physically and chemically. It's also what they check for it to mark that this one is for pharmaceutically what, of pharmaceutical grade. They check these things. I'm listing now. They check whether it is toxic. They check the how stable it is physically or what and chemically. They also check whether it has microorganisms inside. These are things they check. Okay.
This microbial contamination, but they say that some microorganisms are beneficial to us. And you guys say it was sterilized, so I'm going to
No, that some microorganisms are beneficial to us doesn't mean that you should consume microorganisms. Run away from just anything like clear it from those who are on their own. They have a way of entering the system on their own. They are there on their own. That one is different. Am I communicating? That one is what is different. Avoid it. Now, the next one is that they do not alter the what? Bioavailability of the drug. So they have no business. In fact, instead of when this alter here means the negative aspect of it, true or false? Because remember we always say that excipient improves. So, bioavailability now. We say that excipient improve what? So the alter here is negative sense. Am I communicating? So the alter here is in negative what sense? But basically, some excipient improve what? Bioavailability of drugs. So they should not bring down the bioavailability of what? Drug. That's what I meant here, okay? Alright, so and they must be what? Color compatible. They must be what? Color compatible. Not when they come together, they start producing another color that you don't even know what to call it. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So these are the properties of what? ID what? SPM. ID, sorry, diluent. Now let's look at some examples of diluents used in what? Tablet formulation. And one is lactose. We discussed lactose extensively, right? Yes. So it's not a new thing. So for lactose, we use both anhydrous lactose and spray dried lactose. Both the anhydrous and spray dried lactose. Then another one is what? Directly compressed starch. Star RX 1500. That is just brand name, okay? It's a brand name. It's just there for, but the main thing is the name of the what? ACPN. That star RX 1500 is the brand name, okay? So but the main thing is that directly compressed what? Starch. Look at, are we together? If you look at this diluent, we didn't just. It's not just starch. That's specific. The nature of the starch. It's not just starch. The first one is what? Directly compressed starch. The second one is what? Hydrolyzed starch. Note this point. Directly compressed starch. Hydrolyzed starch. Then the next one is what? Microcrystalline cellulose. Microcrystalline cellulose. Note those what is it called? Those brand names as stated here. Avicel is for what? Microcrystalline what? Cellulose. Then we have MDEX as cellular for what? Hydrolyzed starch. Then we have the next one is another example is what? Dibasic calcium phosphate dehydrate. Dibasic calcium phosphate dehydrate. We also have calcium sulfate dihydrate too. Calcium sulfate what? Then you start having mannitol, sorbitol, sucrose, and dextrose. Mannitol, sorbitol, sucrose, and what? Dextrose. These are examples of what? Diluents. So they are used in different situations, okay? Examples of what? Diluent. But the commonest one here is what? Lactose, right?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now let's look at binders and adhesive. Binders and what?
Adhesive.
Binders and what?
Adhesive.
Adhesive. Remember when we talked about wet granulation? I remember.
Yes, sir.
So in the wet granulation, you see that something was added to be able to bring the powder what together, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's where you see binder at work. But if your binder is too strong for a tablet, you produce stone. Stone now find it difficult to do what? Disintegrates. The disintegrate will work, it will not disintegrate. Are we together? Don't worry, we'll get there. Now let's look at binders and what? Adhesive. So these binders and adhesive are added. It can be in dry or wet form. It can be added as in wet form. It can also be added what? In what?
Dry
like it must not be what? Wet. Are we together?
Yes.
Sometimes you add it as dry powder. So there are material that can be added either as what? Wet or in dry form to form what? Granules. The idea is to form granules, to make the powder cohesive. True of us?
Yes.
To form a cohesive mass or compact. Okay? So to form granules or even to form a compact for direct compression. Okay? Are we together?
Yes.
It can form a compact for what? Direct compression. By the time we go into tablet production, you will see direct compression, we see granulation. There are some drugs that you produce by direct compression. Are we together? You don't really need to go and start granulating. Don't worry, we'll get there. So this is what we have in what? Under what? Binders and what? Examples of ingredients under this, we have acacia and tragacanth. We have acacia solution, tragacanth what? Solution. Listen carefully. This one now is in solution form, not as what? Powder, okay? So acacia or traga what? Canth. Watch the concentration. It's not anyhow. The concentration must be what?
10 to 25%.
Concentration. 10 to what? It's not just any concentration you like to use. So for acacia, do you know why? There is a concentration you use it, even if this acacia or it will not be functioning as what? It will start functioning as something else in the what? Tablet. That's why most of these experiment, you see acacia here. If you go to another class of experiment, you also see acacia, but at different what? Concentration. So at concentration of what? 10 to 5% concentration, tragacanth, acacia, they serve as what? Binder. Know that point, okay?
Okay, sir.
Now the next one, after that, you now go to what? Cellulose derivatives. I want someone, let me know whether you are following. Look at this thing. Cellulose, is it natural? Even though this is not active ingredient, right? But cellulose, is it natural?
Yes.
What of methyl cellulose? Is it synthetic or natural?
Synthetic.
Who knows what they are? How are you ever since? Good. Who said that? You go far. Say it's synthetic. The two of us. It's simply what? Methyl cellulose. It's still cellulose, but they just added what? Methyl group there. Simple. Do you understand what we are doing by semi-synthetic now? So that's why they call it cellulose derivative. Derived from where? Cellulose. It still have that cellulose core, but methyl group was what? Added. I just use this. We are discussing experience now, but I just use this as an example of what happens in what? Semi-synthetic. Now, so we have methyl what? Cellulose, then hydroxypropyl methyl what? Cellulose. We have methyl cellulose, hydroxypropyl methyl what? Cellulose. Then we also have what? Hydroxypropyl cellulose. These are examples of cellulose derivative used as what? Binders. Then we also have gelatin. Gelatin can also be used as what? But remember our gelatin we mentioned in capsule, right?
Yes.
Gelatin, even though we'll see do capsule in detail in the second semester, but we mentioned it. Yeah. So gelatin solution. Please note the concentration. 10 to 25% solution. Is it 20?
Yes.
Alright, thank you. That means you are following. 10 to what? 20% solution. So at that concentration, gelatin solution can be used as what? As what?
Binder.
When you hear 10% solution, what does it mean? You hear that let's use this gelatin now as an example. You hear that gelatin solution is 10%. What does it mean? That is not. Anyway, we'll still do it in FAMCAT, but I want you to do it now. What does it mean? If you know that gelatin itself is called as what? Solid, right? Even acacia, solid. You want to prepare it as a solution. What it means that if you hear gelatin solution is 10, what it means is that there is 10 grams of gelatin inside 100 ml solution. So the entire solution, volume of the entire solution is what? 100 ml. But the amount of gelatin inside it is what? 10 grams. So if you hear that something is, let's assume that gelatin is 1% solution. What it means is that the entire solution is 100 because percent is what? 100, right?
Yeah.
But the amount of gelatin inside is what?
1
gram. That's the meaning. So if they prepared it now, they just got 1 gram of gelatin for this 10%, 10 gram, then prepare the solution and make it up to 100 ml. So and the entire volume is 100 ml, but the amount of gelatin inside it is what? 10 grams. That's the meaning. So if you go back to what we discussed about acacia and the triglycerides, 10 to 25%. What it is that the solution for 10%, it means 10 grams of acacia inside what? 100 ml what? Solution. True of us? That's the meaning, please. So you don't get confused about it. Now, glucose can also be used as what? Binder. At concentration of 50%. What does it mean?
50%, 50 grams inside 100 ml of solution.
So glucose at 50%, not any concentration you like to use. At 50% concentration, glucose can serve as what? Binder. The next one is what? Polyvinyl pyrrolidone. Polyvinyl pyrrolidone, PVP, can serve as what?
A
binder. Adhesive at the concentration of 2%. What does it mean?
2 grams inside 100 ml of solution.
Good. So at concentration of 2%, PVP can serve as what? As what? Binder. Have you noticed something here? Starch appeared under diluent. True of us?
Yes.
As directly compressed starch, hydrolyzed starch, under binder, and you also see starch, but as a what? Paste. As a what now? Paste. At concentration of 10 to 20% what?
Solution.
So that means for 10% we have 10 grams of starch in the 100
ml of solution.
or 20%. So from 10 to 20% concentration, starch paste can serve as what?
A binder.
Does it make sense?
Yes, sir.
Then sodium arginate on its own is gel-like, and that one has no issue. Sorbitol, the same thing. So these are examples of what? Binders. Are you aware that I'm here? These few minutes I've stayed with you now. Is it up to 1 hour?
Yes.
100 people can be generated here now. Are you aware? So question Boko. Study. Question Boko. Okay, answer Boko. I like that spirit. I like the spirits. Alright, so now let's look at disintegrants. I don't want this lecture to stay more than 1 hour.
Yes.
Let me just round up with what? The disintegrants. Are we together?
Yes.
So let's look at disintegrants. Now let me explain. You've been hearing disintegrant, right? Disintegrants. They are the one that cause the what? Disintegration, right?
Yes.
So binders and disintegrants are always at war. Yes, now. Binders are what you help you to make the tablet to what? Come together. Inside the same tablet you have what? Disintegrant. So when you enter there, it's disintegrant that will cause the what? Disintegration. Binder, you bring it together. Disintegrant is doing what? Scattering it. So you must strike a balance. Even if you're not careful, if your binder conquers the disintegrants, your tablet will enter your stomach and do what? And go out. And when that happens, what is the implication?
Depends on the distance.
It doesn't depend on anything. The active ingredient will not come out. True of us. And if it not come out, if you have any headache, the headache will do what? Remain there. Because the active ingredient did not what? Come out. True of us.
True.
Good. That's why even the food, I think maybe we continue with this in our next time. Even the food you eat, let me end with this example. Even the food you eat, you think, are we together?
Yes.
You think it's by eating one big plate of food. If you finish that one big plate of food, and your system could not extract the nutrients, you don't eat anything. Yes. Because what you feed your cells. You don't feed your stomach. Is that nutrient in that food that your cell needs for its cellular activity, for respiration, that will generate energy and other things in the city? So if the food you eat, the nutrients will not absorb, they'll go out as big feces. At the end, the person will even die, because the cell is hungry. The cells are hungry. Nothing for the cells. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
So this is what happens when the binder is so strong that the disintegrant could not even do anything. Tablet will just enter the stomach and do what? Go out like that. Then if the binder is so weak, it's a problem. By the time the finished products leave the manufacturing firm and get to the distributor, it will turn to what? Powder. So there must be a what? Powder. But there are some products that you see them very hard, but the disintegrant is also powerful. They will stand the stress of mechanical stress of transportation. At the same time, if you take it, within few seconds they are disintegrated. Don't worry, we'll talk more on that in our next class. Any question?
What's the difference between dehydration and dehydration?
Dehydration. Alright, so any question? So let me stop it. What's up?
No, nobody knows it. That's why I asked.
Okay, you said dehydration.
And dehydration.
I thought you were okay, sir.
Me? You tell me to go and browse.
Dehydration. And in dehydrate, you are open water. When you say die is talking about two. Maybe two dehydrate, 2 molecules or something. Hydration means water, right?
Yes, sir. So 2 molecules.
Yes, depending on the context you are using it. If you are talking about water of it becomes what? If you're talking about water of preservation, it becomes what? Pentahydrates, dihydrates, of us, 2 molecules of water oxygen is what? Blah 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 dihydrate. One is blah 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 monohydrate. Does it make sense now? Yes. All right. So I think we should stop here.
Yes.
See you
Tomorrow.
God bless you.
Bless you, sir.